Hey Flosstube, it's Jen from Jen's Stitching Niche, back for my 14th video. I have recorded this multiple times and keep forgetting what I've said in which video. So I've made better notes, and I'm going to record this and get everything in and make sure that I cover everything that I'm supposed to. I just finished recording it and got through almost the entire thing, and then I'm like, well, I can't remember what I've talked about and what I haven't talked about. So it's time to get focused. Just had a little bit of sugar to get my brain working a little better. Always a good excuse to eat chocolate. And now I'm going to start over again. So, hello everybody. It's February 4th. I'm back for my 14th video. It's been 3 weeks since my last video. It's been a very fun and adventurous 3 weeks. I have had a trip with some friends, been teaching a lot of classes. I've been doing some stitching, not as much as I would like, but enjoyed myself over the past 3 weeks. 2018 is turning out to be a great year, even though I have been a little moody. I think I'm going through a midlife crisis. We'll talk about it in a little bit. But first of all, I'm in a new space. So I'm in my dining room. We have a dining room, and then our kitchen, on the back side of our kitchen, we have another dining room table. And this is the one that we very rarely sit at, this dining room table, even though it's my favorite table, because my older son, Patrick, took over this table when he started college. So he has all of his stuff piled on it, and right now all my stuff is piled on his stuff. He's not here right now, so I'll get finished with the video and clean up. My husband and my 2 sons go every Sunday to game with some friends at a local shop, and I get this Sunday afternoon to myself, or Teresa comes over and hangs out with me. Today I'm by myself with the cats and the dog. So Elvis, my Maine Coon cat, has been collecting friends lately. He does this sometimes, and this morning when I came down, he had his head underneath one of the couches in the front room, which meant there was something under there. So I got in there and moved things around and found a little vole. It's a little rodent. Not a little, it's about this big. But got a cup and caught it and threw it outside because my husband and my son get upset. They don't want me to kill anything. My husband calls me little bunny foo-foo because he says you just go around scooping up the field mice and bopping them in the head. Somebody's got to do it sometimes. But to make them happy, I didn't. Caught the little guy, threw him out. I will have to catch him again because once they find the house, they come back in. But whatever. I went upstairs to tell my husband I caught the mouse, threw him out. Or the vole, threw him out. He's like, oh, good. The little tiny one? I'm like, what little tiny one? He goes, oh, last night Elvis was chasing around a little tiny thing. I'm like, that's a shrew. That is a much meaner little animal. I don't know if you've ever encountered a shrew. They're tiny. They're so cute, but they try to bite you. So I've caught many of those in this house since we've moved in because there's a lot of them around in the field, and Elvis likes to bring them in too. So I'll probably have to go find a shrew in a little bit. That cat brings in lots of animals. He's brought in snakes and all kinds of little rodents, but fortunately I'm a biologist and I'm okay with catching them. So it's been a fun day so far. Okay, let's see. I have a lot to share because in the 3 weeks since my last video, I've been quite productive. So I was going to give you I've got my notes here. I'm going to follow my notes. I do want to respond to some comments from my last video. Thank you to everyone that left comments. I have been negligent in looking at my comments lately. I thought I was keeping up with them and giving feedback or thumbs up or something, but apparently I haven't. Because when I went through the list to see if there were any major questions I needed to address, there were lots of comments that I had not seen. So I am so sorry if I have not responded or at least given a thumbs up. It's not because I don't care. It's just that I just didn't notice it. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be much better. A couple of things I do want to address. First of all, Candy Stitches. I knew we had the same birthday. When you mentioned that your birthday was in early February, I'm like, I bet she has the same birthday as me. So I'm excited. Happy birthday. I hope you have a good birthday this Friday. I am excited about it. My husband and I are going to probably go out to eat. And I don't know, I told him, I was picking on him this morning when we were going. I always try to do a menu. I've been cheating off of Vanna's menu lately, but I try to do a menu. And I was telling him, and Friday's my birthday, so we're going to go out. And I said, and Saturday's the continuation of my birthday celebration, so we need to go out again. But that's probably it. We'll just probably go out and eat. Kathleen from Kathleen's Trodden Trail, thank you so much for the encouragement on my rug hooking. I am excited about getting started, and I appreciate all of the advice. Thank you so much. Sarah Richard asked about the Erica Michael sampler book. I know that the individual pages, the charts for those, were free charts that were available on the Rainbow Gallery website. I saw the finishing instructions at a shop in Nashville last year, but that shop is now closed. But you could probably contact Erica Michael, the designer at Erica Michaels, and ask about the instructions, and maybe they can give you kind of advice on where to find those. And then Betty Ulan asked about the Homespun Elegance, the bee heart. She asked if I used the called for threads. Probably not. I probably used, unless it was DMC. If it was DMC, yes, I would have used that. And I just stitched it on a piece of blue fabric from my stash. So I had lots and lots and lots of encouraging comments about how much I had done. I'm obsessive about things, so I do spend a lot of time. I mean, it's the point where I have to make myself stop and go to bed sometimes, but I did get a lot of stuff accomplished, and I'm hoping to kind of keep that momentum going for a while. Okay, so those were my comments. Life update semester is underway. We were ready. The students have their first exam this coming Thursday. I always joke it's their birthday present from me. Haha. They don't think that's funny. But, because it always falls around my birthday. But, semester's been good. I'm getting a lot of exercise because I'm teaching in a different building for all of my classes. Have to be honest, this past 8 years, I've been in either right next to or in the same building as my lecture hall. This semester, we've changed the way we're delivering information to our students in my class. It's an active learning class, so we are not in a lecture hall. I've always done active learning for the past probably 5 years, but it's been in the lecture hall. It's doable, but it's not the best way of doing things. So now I am in what we call our active learning classroom, which is a bunch of tables, and the students sit at tables, and I am mic'd up and lecturing, and they can see me on different screens. My largest class is 168 students, and you would not think that there were that many people in the room. It's very cozy. So it's been a busy semester so far, but I'm enjoying it. We did start off weird because we had another snow day in South Mississippi, which is unheard of. But we actually had to close campus for 2.5 days because of the snow, because the snow wouldn't melt. Which brings me to the first thing I want to share with you. We had a snow day back in December. The very first Friday or second Friday, no, I think it was first Friday in December. We had snow that was like no snow I'd ever seen before in my life. It was snowing during the day, and there was a lot of snow. I talked about it in my last video, and I don't think I shared this, but when my husband and I spent the whole day outside, and I took several pictures, but this was my favorite one. So this is just a photo that I took with my camera. There are no adjustments to it. This is what it looked like without any changes to the photo. But this is my husband. He is playing with his drone. He was about to launch the drone. So you can see that's what he's holding is the control mechanism for that. And this is an oak tree, so you can see how big that thing is. And this is my dad's hay barn. So this is across the road from our house. It's actually on my sister's property now. And I was just standing down the hill, turned around and took this picture. And I loved it. So much so that I went to Snapfish and got a canvas print of it. And we're going to hang it in our living room. But I love the fact that it's almost a perfect horizontal line. And the color of the sky and the color of the snow is the same. And then all these grays, and this is green in the tree. Just beautiful. So that was me trying to be a photographer, but I think it's beautiful. Snapfish, I was so excited because I'm like, oh, hobby, it's too expensive. It's like $80 for this, but then they were having a special and I got it for $29.99. Love those online specials. The other thing, kind of some updates, I'm trying to move because the sun's starting to set. Might have to move my camera, but I went to a finishing retreat with some friends. So we set up a weekend, the third weekend in January. My friend Lisha, who is a wonderful person and very motivating, she's a great coach. My younger sister Bridget, who is another one of my best buddies. The three of us went to Memphis, or just south of Memphis in South Haven, Mississippi, and met up with some friends, and we did a finishing weekend. So we took a bunch of cross-stitch pieces that we had finished, but we hadn't fully finished. Hold on, let me adjust here so that glare isn't too bad. Get it behind me. Okay. So we met up with some friends, and we spent the whole weekend, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and most of the day Sunday, finishing projects. Finishing them as pillows, flat folds, framing, whatever. Best idea ever. We're going to do that at least 3 more times this next year. The weekend before, Bridget and Lisha and I met over at Bridget's house, and I took my big box of unfinished items, and we just went through them, and I divided them into stacks of Christmas, you know, Halloween, spring stuff, and other, because I didn't want to take anything that wasn't, I wanted to focus on spring, Valentine's Day, Easter type stuff. And so that's what we did. And I've got a lot of things to show you as that resulted from that. And I advise to everybody, if you can set something like that up with your friends, do it, because it was a brilliant idea. So thank you, Ray. I don't think she watches Flosstube, but thank you, Ray, because she was the one that came up with that. And then another exciting thing is that I'm going to another retreat. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Katrina Boyd is hosting a retreat at Orange Beach in Alabama. And so Lisha, my friend Lisha, my sister Bridget, and our older sister Sharon, we're all headed down to Orange Beach to cross-stitch. Not finish, but this is just a regular cross-stitch retreat. We want Teresa to go with us, but she's working all the time. Whatever. So, all right. So I'm not in my normal place. I talked about that earlier. One of the reasons I set up here is so you could see my wool tree. This is something that I finished over the Christmas holidays. Or no, I actually finished that after New Year's. But this is something that was really popular this past Christmas, is the wool trees, where you can get the felted wool, cut it into strips, fringe it, and then wrap it around floral wire to make these little limbs. And then you attach that to a dowel rod, and it looks like a pine tree. I love this thing. I would make hundreds of them if I could, but I need one. I don't need any more. I get obsessive about things. And it's going to sit here on my little buffet. It's not an antique buffet. I may have already said that. It's just one I bought at Haverty's years ago. But I'm going to set up decorations for each month. So this is my little village for January. Those are the ornaments from the Hirschner's set that I've talked about on a previous video. And that's going to kind of be one of the theme decorations. I've already gotten, where's my box? I've got the ornament. I signed up for the Hirschner's Ornament of the Month Club because I love these ornaments. And I got that yesterday in the mail. And so these are the ornaments I will be making for Valentine's Day. And I'm just going to hang them on that tree. So I'm going to take these and put them up until next January. And then these will hang on the tree. What do y'all think? I'm thinking about, instead of using the sequins to do this, is just to embroidery little words on here and then just do the sequins. I think that's what I'm going to do, because that would be so much prettier if I just stitched like I love you, or stitched love hugs with embroidery stitches. That's what I'm going to do, because that'll look better. All right, So that's one of the things I was going to share with you. Let me put it way over there so I know that I've already shown that to you. So if anybody is interested in the retreats, go to Katrina Boyd. She does cross-stitch retreats. You can just Google cross-stitch retreats and her website will pop up. And she has lots of retreats planned for this year. So come join us. As many. I'm going to go to as many as I can because I love Katrina. All right, so let's look at finishes. I have lots of finishes to show because that finishing weekend. And I will start with one that has a sad story. Not a sad story, a shameful story. So this is from the Leisure Arts Christmas Remembered book series. I think this is from the Christmas ABCs. And what's shameful about this is I stitched these parts back in 1992. I actually stitched the R, the E, the G, the A, and the N, because that's how you spell my last name. And I fully finished the R, the E, the G, and the A. And they've been hanging on Christmas trees since 1992. And little N has always been in the box of shame. When we were going through the things that we were going to take to the retreat, when I pulled this out, my sister's like, Jennifer, you're taking that and you're going to finish it. This is ridiculous. So it was the very first thing I finished that weekend. I just had to go in and do this edging, but it's cross-stitched. So I had to make sure it lined up on the front and the back. And it just was frustrating. It took me an hour and a half to do. But I could have had this on trees for 20-something years if I would have just done that before. But it's done now. I'm so proud of myself. So that's one of my finishes. I finished the Honeybee Linen Strawberry from Erica Michaels. So I've shown the FO of this. So this is the FFO. It was super easy. And I stuffed a lot of the things. I took some sawdust with me when we went on the retreat. And so I try to stuff things with sawdust. The sawdust actually came from my house when they were building it. I would go out and gather buckets of sawdust because I'm a weirdo. But, and so I stuffed this with sawdust. And I like that better than the walnut shells because it doesn't sag. You know, if you fill it with, it's almost like a beanbag feel instead of a stuffed strawberry. So that's that. I know it looks more like a carrot than a strawberry, but it's finished. Let's see, another finish. This is, I think this is Blackbird Designs. I'm almost positive this is Blackbird Designs. I know it was finished in, it was released in 2015, but I don't know the name of it. But I finished this on a little cutting board that I got at Tuesday morning for like $3. And I saw it, this is where, you know, you got to think creatively all the time. I saw it hanging there in the kitchen utensil section. I'm like, I could use that. And it's perfect. It was the perfect size. This circle is a cardboard coaster that I got in the dollar bin at Michael's. So I just covered it with some batting and then stretched this piece over it, glued it to the board, and then edged it with this pom-pom from Dames of the Needle. And it'll just hang in my kitchen or on one of these knobs over here. Here's another Blackbird Designs pin cushion. Just made it into a pillow. This is some felted wool from a Stitchy box and some of the Dames of the Needle micro or mini rickrack. So super cute. It'll probably go over here with the stuff for my Valentine's decorations. This is Joy by Country Cottage Needlework. So I just mounted it on a piece of mat board. There's quilt batting underneath and then just stretched it over there, over that. And then I took a piece of fabric that I thought matched it really well. It's so cute. And this doesn't have quilt batting. I just do spray glue onto the piece of mat board and then just smooth this over. Attach the two boards together and then ran this chenille trim around the edge. And that chenille trim came from Stitchy Box. Another finish that I did was one of these little Just Nan critters. This is Honey Bunny. Took me probably 20 minutes to do this because I just had to stitch around the edge, stitch on this pom-pom, cut out some little felt ears and glue that on there, or stitch those on there and then stitch on the little hanger. It's been sitting in a box for 2 years. It took me 30 minutes to finish it. Super cute. This is Tulip House box, Tulip House Pin Keep or something like that. It's in one of the Blackbird Design books. I don't have the book anymore, so I'm not sure what the name of the book is. But this is just a little card box from Hobby Lobby that I painted and then followed the instructions that were in the book. You just use brie wax to color up, kind of age it, and then you cut out cardboard to mount the stitched pieces on, glue them onto the top of the box, and then just this pom-pom trim. And it also comes with a pin cushion pattern. Oops, that's upside down. Hold on a second. So it has the little the little pin cushion, and then these are just some fabric line sections that you can tuck things in. And that is glued in there apparently, and it is glued in there upside down. I'll deal with that later. I have recorded this video 3 times, and that's the first time I noticed it was upside down. So I guess I needed to look at that again. I think I showed this in one of my previous videos because I finished this before I went on the retreat. Went to this finishing weekend, and this is Button Button by Brenda Gervais. And I'm showing this again because I just want to say Brenda Gervais, first of all, I love all of her patterns. I think I would stitch every one of them if I had that much time in my life, and I'm hoping that I do. But her finishing instructions are great. I just follow them step by step and just have confidence that what she's telling me will work, because if I do, they turn out really cute. You know, there are times in it when I'm like, this is not looking right, and I just keep going with the instructions, and it turns out beautiful like this. So love her stuff. Okay, showing all of that. There's another pillow. This is Black Work Pin Keep from Stacy Nash Primitives. I actually got this as a kit, but it's now a chart. And I have that chart in my Etsy store. And this is filled with that sawdust as well. So I love it because it's sturdy. You can hear that, but it's not super heavy, and it doesn't change shapes like when you use the crushed walnut shells. All done in 310 DMC. And I just coffee dyed this fabric. The way I do that is probably not the best way, but I just take, my husband drinks coffee every day. When I want to over dye something, I just wait until he's finished, and then I go pour that into a bowl, and then I stuff whatever piece of fabric that I want to over dye in there. And then once it sits there overnight, then I take it out and let it dry. Sometimes I put it outside, let it dry in the sun, and it gets all grungy looking, but it's pretty. Love that. Another Stacy Nash Primitives. This is Three Sisters Pin Keep. I am trying to order this from Hoffman because it's on their website, but when I placed an order a week ago, it didn't come in. So hopefully I'm going to place another order tomorrow. Hopefully it will be in. But yeah, it's the same motif here, just in different colors. But I love that. My 2 sisters are supposed to be stitching this as well. That's me. That's Bridget with a chicken. And that's Sharon with a dog. We made that up. Or we named each other, I guess. And then this is Not Forgotten Farms bee sampler. And I just finished this on the top of an unfinished wooden box. I mounted some bee fabric and just covered that with rickrack, so it's very subtle since I covered everything up. But when you open it up, you can see the fabric. So cute. I love that. I love Not Forgotten Farms designs as well. At the retreat, one of the ladies that was, I keep calling a retreat, but it wasn't like a retreat. I guess it was, but it was a group of friends. One of the ladies there is Tangela. She is on Instagram as Stitchy Nurse. And she brought a couple of projects that she had completed and she was making into pillows, including Not Forgotten Farms Thomas, which is the big turkey. And you may have seen this on Instagram and Stitch Mania as well. I love that pillow. She stitched it on 18 count linen over 2 using 4 strands of floss. So it's huge, but it's so pretty. And she finished it as a pillow with this gorgeous fringy trim and just beautiful. She's a sweetheart too. Tangela, if you're watching my video, listen, Bridget and I just love you. You are super sweet. What else? I got distracted. Sorry. Thinking about that gorgeous pillow that she made. All right. Some other things that I finished were more of the Brenda Gervais, because I love Brenda Gervais stuff. Like I've said before, I think I could stitch everything that she designs. One of the things that she designed, it's been several years ago, was the Strawberry Hill Sampler. And this, I've just finished it like she suggested on a Whitman sampler box. Had to eat all the candy before we left on the trip because I needed that box. And it's just mounted on cardboard with quilt batting behind it and then glued to the top. And then this is just a trim. And then when you open the box, I painted the box and then lined the box with scrapbook paper. Very pretty. Ooh, that smells like chocolate still. And then the same pattern came with a housewife pattern that you could finish. And it just folds up. This is trim that Teresa gave me. It's just over-dyed lace. And then these are buttons out of my grandma's button box. And just some trim that I had in my scrapbooking. And then the inside is just finished like this with some strawberries to put pins in. Oops. This is to tie your scissors in place and then just a little pin cushion. And again, her instructions, Brenda Gervais' instructions are easy to follow. This took me a little bit longer. My sister was just whipping out the finishes that weekend. And I was plodding through and barely getting anything done, but I was doing some kind of intricate things. Once I got started though, I finished a lot. And then also, okay, I showed you the 2 parts. And then the final set that I finished was another Brenda Gervais. This is her Valentine's sampler set, I think. It's been a while since this one was released, but there's several parts to it. So this part you mount on one of the Russell Stover candy boxes. And I just got this lace trim at Joann's while we were there and used that to finish it. A little pin pillow. Just different sampler motifs. A little needle book. Now, in Brenda's instructions, these buttons hang off the edge here, but I could not get that to work, so I just sewed them on there. And then it's just, it snaps together and you can use that to hold your needles. And then another, one of the little candy boxes with another heart. And I want to put some trim around it because it doesn't look finished. I need to do a little bit more work on that. And then finally, if I can find it, there's a scissor fob that went with that. Anyway, and it has a scissor fob. Oh, there it is on the ground. Surprised a cat didn't find that already. It's got cat hair on it now. And then a little scissor fob. So again, that's from Brenda Gervais. So those are some of my, those are my fully finished objects from the weekend that I spent with friends, which was great. So if you get a chance, get some friends together, plan a Saturday, and start early in the morning and work as far into the night as you can. We had stations set up. So we had a gluing station, we had a painting station, we had an ironing station, we had 2 sewing machines set up, one with white thread, one with black thread. We had a cutting station for fabric and mat board. We also had a table where people just dumped stuff that they didn't want anymore, and so you can go through and find fabrics and trim. And plus we were there giving each other support. So we had a great time. We were at a hotel, so we had a conference room to do all of this in. And we stayed in the hotel the whole time. The hotel we stayed at, we had free breakfast and free dinner. We would go out at lunch, and if we needed things, that's when we would pick up what we needed and we'd come back. And we were busy, busy bees, and we had a great time. So, good idea. Thank you, Ray. That was a great idea. All right, so those are my finishes. Got another finish to show you. So, Farm Girl has been showing these really great project bags that she's been making based on instructions from Dina from Making Life Count from Georgia. And so I've been obsessed with the idea that I need to make project bags. And what I like about those is that you can see what's inside. The other project bags are really cute, but I don't like not being able to see. So most of my finishes, or most of my projects, are in the kind of translucent envelopes. Well, after seeing the ones that Michelle made, I went to Dina's website, Flosstube, and I watched her instructions, and they're perfect for following. And so I've been making project bags. Here's my first one. So all this is from different scraps that I've had in my collection. And I even had the vinyl because I made another kind of project carry-all using this vinyl. So I've been using that up. And here's another one that I love. This is called Salt Air, is the line from Moda. And I've had this fabric forever trying to figure out what I was going to do. So I'm so happy. I love this. Oh, let me log back in. Sorry. And then I stopped at this one shop years ago. They weren't very friendly people, but they had this one line of yellow and gray fabric that I love. And I bought 1 yard of every piece in that line. And so I used some of them to make some project bags. This is one of them. And this is the other. I love yellows and grays together. Always have. All right, so that's a finish, sort of. Sorry, I dropped something else. And then the other thing that are kind of crafty things I've been working on today, we have honeybees. Last year we had our first batch of honey, and I saved all the honeycomb, melted it down, processed it to get the wax. So this morning, while my kids were cleaning the kitchen, I was in there making a mess, pouring little honey bee scap waxers. Isn't that cute? And I've got to go around and clean up the edges. But if I can get these pretty enough, I'm going to put these on my Etsy shop, I think. But this is from our own bees. That makes me happy. They're very pretty. And they smell so good. So I've just pulled a couple of them to show. It's hard to see, but they have 2 little bees on there as well. All right, progress. Haven't been stitching that much. I've been stitching a little bit, but not that much. But I do have one piece that I'm almost finished with. I'm going to finish it tonight, and that's this piece. It's called Bird's Eye View from Kathy Barrett. And this is so tiny. When you see the pattern, it's one of those that is misleading, because when I saw this, I thought it was going to be fairly large. But it's tiny, and it's so cute. This is part of my year of whips, and when I started, I just had the outline of this tail. So all this other stuff I've stitched this week. And I haven't been stitching that much, so it doesn't take long. I love the colors. And all I have left to do is this house to fill in the windows and the door. And then there's another house down here, so you can see that. the gray house. And this makes me so happy because it's so pretty. Look at that little fruit right there. And that little bunny. So, love that chart. So happy to finish that. So that's really only progress I have this show. But I'm going to have other things for you to look at next time I do a video, because I've got a lot of, I'm going to another retreat in Orange Beach in 2 weeks. So I'll have some stitching time there. Last thing I want to talk about is based on, so Teresa started, when she started her floss tube, she calls them stitchy tubes, she had this segment called What I'm All Into, and everybody loves it. And I show you some of the things I like, but I've never done a What I'm All Into. Heidi Cran from, what is it? Stitching 1/2 does a great job with What I'm All Into, and she makes me want to go and buy things and do things based on hers. So I'm going to share what I'm all into with you this week. First of all, I would love to share it, but I live with 3 men and they eat everything in the house. I was going to share the new Oreo chocolate hazelnut cookies that they have. I love them. I would love them more if people would stop eating them. But I had a package and I was going to show them. And my boys, my grown men, children, not children, grown men, they ate all my cookies. I also, I'm sorry, my phone keeps buzzing. I also was going to share the Dove Milk Chocolate Hearts that I'm all into. They're all gone too because I live with 3 men and they eat everything. So just imagine I'm all into Dove chocolate. The other thing that I'm all into this past week has been The Blacklist. I love that TV show, but I don't have cable. If it's not on Netflix, I don't watch it. So I haven't been able to watch the last season. My younger sister, Bridget, that I keep talking about, she and I talk about it because we love James Spader's character. We think Raymond Reddington is just hilarious. It's on Netflix now, the season, what is it, 4? And I was able to watch it this entire week. I've been watching it. I just love it. Well, we also have Amazon Prime, and now I can watch Amazon Prime on my television. And I went last night and found that I can purchase access to the latest season. So I did that, and I've been watching that. I'm almost caught up. So I'm all into The Blacklist. Love that TV show. Also, I've been listening to an audiobook called, what is it? Before We Were Yours. It's about this family, or these children, 5 siblings that were taken into custody. I don't know how you say it, but they were essentially stolen from their parents and then lived in this horrible orphanage, and then they were, adopted out. It's fiction, but it's based on a true story of the Tennessee State Children's Society, I think is what its name. It was run by Georgia Tann. It was a horrible situation in I guess it's from the 30s through the 50s. But this is a novel based on that. I listened to it going back and forth to work and cried a lot. But it was a pretty good, I don't know if I would have read it all the way through. I would have, because I don't like to stop in the middle. I have to finish anything, even if it's a horrible book. But it was, the people who were reading it had really good accents. And the story was really compelling. So I'm all into that. The other thing I've been all into, because I watch Heidi Cran, and she always makes everything sound wonderful, has been teas. I'm from the South. We drink iced tea. I don't like sweet tea. I'm an unsweet tea kind of girl, so I'm a very odd Southerner. When we moved to Houston, Texas, when I was in graduate school, they didn't have sweet tea in Texas at that time, and so I was happy because I don't like sweet tea. I mean, I have my unsweet tea right now. But Heidi Cran talked about herbal tea, and I'm like, maybe I do like herbal tea. So I went out and I got cinnamon apple spice from Celestial Seasoning, and I love this stuff. Every time I think of Heidi Cran, I have to drink some of this. Or anytime I'm watching her, I have to go get some tea. It's like Pavlov's dog type of conditioning. Then I'm like, wait a minute, I've drank herbal tea before. And I went and bought some of this week. I love vanilla almond from the Republic of Tea. It smells good. It makes good hot tea, but I love this as iced tea as well. So I'm all into these teas. And then finally, the other thing I'm all into is a magazine called Flow magazine. So I'm a little obsessed into this. So this was the first one that I bought. So it says Flow, a magazine that takes its time. It's supposed to be about just kind of taking your time and being in the moment and experiencing things. So it talks about mindfulness, meditation, and things just to make you happy. In this particular edition, one of the things I love, it's also a magazine for people who love paper. So it's got all kinds of really cool paper or really cool images that you can use in your paper crafts. Inspirational stories. The print isn't always the same. So like the middle part is always on what looks like newsprint, and it's only on one side. And it has these great dividers. So in this issue, the dividers were these kind of botanical drawings, which I love. And these can tear out and you can use them in different ways. It always comes with some kind of removable part that you can use. So this one came with notebooks, 3 little tiny notebooks. And they're upstairs in my craft room. I love little tiny notebooks. It also had stickers to put on your cell phone. So it's really neat for crafty people. And I love this. And I'm like, I want to do so much based on what's in the book. So this past Friday, when I was heading home after work, I went by and I picked up this. It's one of their books. And so it's a kind of program for being mindful. So 19 days of mindfulness. And gives you the instructions and gives you tasks to do for 19 days to get you more centered. And in here, it comes with little things, little gifties. So it's got a little tear out note journal that you're supposed to, one of the tasks is to write in there. Another little pull out that's a color by number. Also has a little craft that you can do to make a banner using these hot air balloons. So I think it's great. It's got good stories, good illustrations, good pictures, but it's also for crafty people. It gives you something to do as well with your hands. So I like that. And I also picked up the latest issue of the magazine. So it's pretty. It's got all kinds of interesting things in it to do. So it's full of, I don't know how to say it. It's more than just a magazine. And for crafty people, we like that. So like this one, one of the pull-out parts was this really cool-looking botanical cover of a sketchbook. And then it's got an article that goes along with this. And this past year, I know I've said it a lot, it's been kind of, I think I'm going through a midlife crisis, but it's been a very emotional year for me. I had both of my sons, reached a certain milestone. One graduated from high school, the other graduated from college. My dad had the stroke. My mom broke her hip. There's been drama with my family because of issues with what we want to do with our property and what they want us to do with our property. It's our property. It's just been drama. And so I've been stressed a lot. And I think with this magazine, kind of going through that 19 days of mindfulness, it's going to kind of get me centered and reassess what's important and get over myself a little bit, grow up and chill out. So I think I'm really excited that I found those magazines, and those are some things that I'm all into. What's coming up? Like I said, I'm going to the retreat. Market is right after that. I'm enjoying kind of just spending time crafting. I may have already mentioned this, but based on watching Pretty Southern Joe's videos with her kind of getting rid of things, I do that all the time. And Michelle Rudy, Farm Girl, reorganizing her craft room. I've decided I am too. That's why I'm down here and not upstairs in my craft room. I had a bed in there It was like a guest bedroom, but that takes up a lot of space and we don't use it. So I was talking to my husband. I'm like, I think I want to take that bed out. And he's like, let's do it. So this weekend we took the bed down, threw the mattress and box springs, which were old and musty smelling anyway, away. The bed frame, which is from my grandmother's, an antique bed, went up into the attic, or is going up into the attic. And I'm going to reorganize that into a useful craft room. Thanks to Michelle, I want to go to IKEA because all of her cool stuff came from IKEA. And so my husband and I are planning a trip to Memphis where there is an IKEA. It's closest IKEA to us. And I'm going to get, I've already started shopping and planning what I want and make that into a usable space. And that's going to make me even more productive. And I'm going to get all kinds of crafting stuff done. And this 2018 is going to be my year of focus and finishing the things I want to do. I've been spending a lot of time going, why do I have to do things I don't want to do? And we all have to work. Well, many of us have to work. But I need to realize that I can spend time on the weekends. I should be doing things that I want to do and not spend the entire weekend working as well. So that's my focus for the next year, is to do as much crafting and things that I want to do and enjoy myself. This may have been a little bit scattered video. I've tried to follow my list over here, but again, thank you for visiting with me. I appreciate all the comments. I love all the videos that everybody puts out. I try to watch as many as possible. I am behind because I haven't been watching a lot of TV. I watch Flosstube on my television, but I did watch several videos this past 2 days, and thank you very much. And I've been watching Blacklist instead of Flosstube, so I've been kind of cheating on people with Raymond Reddington. But I'll get back to everybody's video. But again, I've said this before, I am so glad I found Flosstube, and it's been a great experience to get to know people, and some people that I knew through other avenues, getting to know them even better. And I appreciate all the effort that people put into making videos and commenting on videos, because that takes time, and that is something that I need to be better at. So I appreciate those of you that are really good at leaving comments and making us feel good about ourselves. So I hope everybody has a great week. I will have a video after the retreat, and if I can figure out how to do it, I'm going to do some of the video in the retreat so you can get to know my friend Lisha and my sister Bridget, who need to make their own videos, but they'll be on my videos one way or the other. So happy Valentine's Day for those of you that are looking forward to Valentine's Day. Candy, happy birthday. I hope you have a great day, and I will see everybody soon. Thank you.